I lost a lung. I don't get another round at this. If I fuck up again, and if I don't pay attention to the lesson, I don't get to do this again. My next lesson is you're not here.
I am Judd Lionheart, former Army Ranger, college linebacker. I've been a strength and performance coach for over 15 years. Let's get into it.
Nobody is luckier than you. Nobody is smarter than you. Nobody is more fit than you. Nobody is more powerful than you. They started early and stayed in the game longer. That is all. All of a sudden, I start falling apart, and now I have no money. I'm getting evicted. I'm angry at God. I hated everybody. You will better humanity, or you will become bitter towards humanity. And I think a lot of people choose the latter. And I think who you become is the choice. What you see is just the event. I think people fear discomfort so badly, but that discomfort is where the growth is. Adversity and success introduce you to who you are deep down in your soul. I really believe that. The secrets and the annoyances and the anger and the happiness and the joy are all locked inside your head. You don't need more information, man. You need more application. People don't do that. You are either training to win or training to lose, and you will become excellent at either or. So choose. Most people get up every morning and go, what can I take? That's why you're fucking broke. What can I give? It's the 5 words I tell everybody, whatever the fuck it takes. If you aren't willing to do that, you don't want it. The only difference between a winner and a loser is a winner kept fucking going.
What's up, y'all? I'm super excited to be here today with Dr. Trevor Bachmeyer, also known as the Spartan. He has an amazing story of overcoming obstacles and doing things that most of us would think would be impossible. He's very well known, but in today's society, a lot of times we don't know great people and great things they've done. And today I get to introduce you to him and dive into tactics he uses and strategies he uses in order to achieve what he's been able to achieve. So, Doctor, pretty cool to have you here.
Dude,
and I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is podcast too for us, huh?
Yeah.
And I was just saying off camera, you said it about if you don't know, you don't know, right? If you don't know these people have done something, you'll never know. It's like having the cure for a disease that's been eradicating humanity and somebody has the cure. Well, how the fuck do you know until somebody goes, they have the cure, and then everybody gets it? Well, that's like how I found you. I told you, you came across my feed and I went, who the hell is this dude? Because he's 275 and he's moving like a gymnast. And so I got addicted. So I started watching your stuff, and I actually like going in the comments and watching all the Insta trolls come in and tell you how to train. And I'm like, do you know what this guy's done? I always just go, where's your video?
Yeah.
Right, where's your
What
video?
are your credentials?
Yeah,
please?
just show me what you've done. I'm okay with that.
Testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't even write about it. Just show me the video. What's your account? Oh, private and 3 posts. Got it. Got it. Remember, you follow me, I don't follow you. That's what I always tell people.
Do they always seem to have the same type of selfie too? You know, it's a selfie, almost without fail, and it's like a certain type of selfie where just like it's like really cringy. Like,
oh, super cringy.
Either that or it's a picture of their cat.
Yeah, I was going to say it's an animal, a plant, or some weird logo that they thought up on Canva that has nothing to do with anything, or just the cringiest picture on earth. And they talk about how popular they are and how much they know, and you look at their it says he, she, her, it, right, for their pronouns. I'm like, I got nothing. You can't fix stupid. You just can't. Here's your sign.
You've presented my argument for me. So
yeah, it's like
it's funny. It's like, you know, doctors and physios and strength coaches tend to follow us and agree with the predominance of what we talk about. Mm-hmm. But it's like these people somehow know more than them. You know
experts.
What I mean?
Always experts.
It's like wow. It's like Dunning-Kruger. I know they say that's like not entirely accurate, but it seems very accurate. Like Dunning-Kruger.
Accurate as hell. Yeah. And I think that's what my wife and I, we talk about this all the time, is that social media in general, like, I mean, I'm going to be 52 in, what's today, the 14th, 15th?
Oh man, you're there.
So I'm going to be 52 in 9 days, right? And I think about that. So I've seen a lot of life. And I mean, both of us have seen a ton of things. And anyone that's over 40, I think, knows life before the internet.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You know, before a cell phone, before the internet, and they're like, no, there was life before that, and it existed just fine.
Yeah.
But I think the internet has provided a platform for people, and this is harsh, and I'm sure this is going to trigger a lot of people, so I hope it gets you a lot of views. It's that the people that have no value to offer whatsoever, none. Your opinion is worthless. You're just out to spew your funky, fucked up attitude, your hate and your misery because you don't like where you are. And people only go on the internet to either escape the life they hate or hate on the life they've given up on. That's it. They just hate on what they've quit on. And the internet's given them a platform to do it behind safety.
That's so true. I always use this analogy. We're all given a brick. Right?
Yep.
And just we can decide what to do with that brick. We can build a bridge, we can build a wall, we can build something, or we can break something.
Yep.
And I look at those people, I'm like, all you're doing is using your brick to break shit. Like use your brick for something else. And it's apparent that you haven't been using your bricks to build because you haven't established anything of your own. Apparently, when I have the rare occasions I look at their Instagram or whatever they're on, but you spend your time breaking. I know you have a family. I know you have people who want to hear from you. I know you have something that you need to be getting done. Instead, you're spending time saying something negative on somebody else's feed that is not doing anything for the people on my feed.
Yep.
It's not doing anything for the people you love. You're just using your bricks to break shit.
Yep. That's true. It's like, and even worse, my name is in your mouth.
Yes.
Your name should be in your mouth, man. You should be proud of who you are. And if you're not proud of who you are, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You get one spin here. And I get it. I mean, everybody has had a point, I think, in their life where they have some doubt, and anyone that goes, no, never, I've always known, bullshit, because something's happened in your life where it rattled you. And you went, man, I don't know, maybe they're right. And those are the people that went, they are right. Not maybe. And then they went down the other side because there's only two sides to every equation. The right side and the wrong side. And I know people go, it depends on what side of the border you're on or what side of the line you're on. I don't agree. I think that if you, like I believe in God. And so I look at it and I go, if you follow the right book and there's only 10 rules, he's got 10 fucking rules. These guys are like, here's 1,000 rules.
There's actually only 2 rules. Love God. Love your neighbor.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
There's only 2 rules.
That's it.
And if you truly do those 2 things, you're golden.
Everything else is set.
Then the other 10 rules, the 10 rules will take care of themselves if you love God by default and love your neighbor.
Yeah, you fall into them by default. That's a great way of doing it. And that's fact. God, that's good. I'm going to remember that. Because that's like, and my dad, the preacher, and I should have paid attention to that. But it's the truth because I think people are so caught up in looking at what other people are doing to validate why they aren't where they are, right? People put people on a pedestal, right? Like they'll look at you and they'll be like, okay, let me get this right. You're 6 foot plus, you're 260 plus, you've got a history of athletics. Well, you've been in the military, Ranger. Well, of course you're successful. You've got all this stuff. You're covered in muscle.
You're white or you're male.
They put you somewhere.
You're born in America.
They allow themselves an escape, right? An option. And instead of going, hey, at one point, all of us were 9 months old, crapping our pants, walking all over the floor. And they forget. I'm like, you do know that you came into the world the same way as everybody else.
Also, it's the people that are successful that understand all the things that people point out as their advantages. The people that are successful see those before they do. Like we've seen all of our advantages and we're fully and completely grateful for those.
Absolutely.
Have you seen your advantages and are you grateful for those? And sometimes the things that you think are your challenges are your advantages.
Yeah.
But you just don't look at them the right way. It's the lens that you view the world through that's your problem.
We talked about this. That's right. Yeah. The lens. And I think that's so good because the lens that people see things through, they're busy looking at other people, not what they can accomplish or what they can do for humanity or how they can better their life or their family and all the things that they should be looking at, right? They go, well, here's the lenses. I'm going to look at your position in my life and my position in yours, and I'm going to go, okay, as long as we're the same or you're below me, I'm good. But as long as you start to elevate past where I see my position in your life or your position in mine, you're going to make me feel insecure. I don't like that. So I'm going to attack you.
This is great. These are fantastic points that everybody should listen to. But until we go into who you are and what you've had to overcome, they're like, this guy's got great points, but why should I listen? Other than, he's in shape at 52.
Who the fuck is he, right?
Like, and there's not very many dudes in shape at 52, but there's not very many dudes in shape at 52 that had cancer and only have one lung.
Yeah. I might be the only one with one cylinder, to be honest.
So let's go into that story.
Yeah.
Build your bona fides a little bit first.
Sure.
And then people might be more apt to listen to all the good advice you have to give.
Where do you want me to start? I mean, how that all began?
What was your first reaction when you were told you had cancer?
Okay, so which time? Because I can go all the way back to how I met Brandy if you want, because it was one of the questions you asked actually. And I went, all right. So I had a cold or a flu. Doctors are the worst patients by far. And I was maybe 6 months battling this flu. I knew that's not what it was. I finally went and I got checked and fast forward and I found out that I had not.
An AIDS test, passed with a 64.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's rock, by the way, not me.
I get that. Yeah, you're like, I'm not taking credit for that, but I know what you said. I got that. But fast forward and I went, okay, you have stage 3B non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and you're at a position in the hierarchy of your health that according to them, and you have to remember, I subscribed only for the most part to the medical model. Mm-hmm. So I went, wow, I have to do something. I have to do chemo. I have to do radiation. I have to do surgery, because they burn you, they slice you, they poison you, and they've been doing the same thing for 45 years, and none of it works. And I will say this,
I love that
as
they burn you, they slice you, they poison you.
and they just keep renaming the shit, right?
So
It's a different, it's radio frequency ablation, it's targeted radiation. They're all the same. They fucking burn you, right? They rename the chemotherapy, they poison you, and they cut you open.
They try to kill you in the cancer, and just hopefully they kill the cancer first.
Yeah, and that's the truth. And I'll give you a whole theory on why that's such a problem too, and why I think cancer, I fully believe, is man-made. You'll never find an animal in nature that's not domesticated. Not domesticated that has cancer. I really believe that. And when people go, oh, come on, how do you know? I'm like, because cancer, everybody has it. But I'll get into that in a minute. But so I went, all right, I got this problem. I tried not to accept it. I did, which is the worst thing you can do. And I took ownership of it. And so I went nuts. They said, I can't give you chemo. Your white count is all over the place. Your red cells are bad. And they're like, we have to wait till you stabilize. I'm like, wait till I fucking stabilize. Stage 3B, it's on either side of my diaphragm. Like, it's fucking everywhere. Are you kidding me? And I panicked, because you hear that word, and the world is so dogmatic that it's been inundated that is a death sentence right out of the gate. And so I blew $1 million in less than 3 months. I took everything I had. Just went, okay, fine. If I'm going out with style. And I had a lot of friends, right? You make a lot of friends when you spend a lot of money.
That's true. Right.
And none of them are real.
In quotes.
Yeah, none of them are real. They're all liars and users, and they're going, what can I take? And versus what can I give? I had very few people that went, how can I help you, man? What do you need from me? Very few. And it's sad to say that, because these are people that I thought were always going to be there. When you're at the bottom, and who goes, I got you. And then they go, time to get up. Not, I'll carry you. That's part of it. But time to get up. Let's get to work. That's the real deal. And I've met very few.
People, hope is a plan. You give somebody hope.
Yeah, you give it. We talked about this. You will do more for other people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most profound things I got from the first podcast we did, was just, I'm like, fuck, he's right. He's right. Because I'll do more for my wife and my family than anyone else. That's right. And that's what this leads into.
You're always strong for others.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden I start falling apart. And now I have no money. I'm getting evicted. I'm in this shitty ass apartment, and I'm angry at God. I was so mad at God. I hated everybody.
I love this, man, because you're strong now, and people that are strong now are always stronger, and they're never weak. So you're talking about your story of overcoming, and it starts with you doing what most of us would have done in that situation. So in essence, you're no different. It's a story of change and becoming as much as overcoming, right?
Yeah. Everybody is the same. You're going to have the same knee-jerk reaction when adversity shows up. You will initially have the same reaction as every other human being on the planet. It's what you do with it that changes, right? Like, adversity and success introduce you to who you are deep down in your soul. I really believe that.
So, like, for people listening to this, if bad stuff happens to you and your first reaction is to react negatively, lash out, crumble, panic, do something wrong, that doesn't define you.
Not at all.
You know, it's like that. Hey, that's a natural reaction. Now it's time to be supernatural. Just sit down. This is you, like everybody else.
Yep.
Now, how do we be something more?
You're letting that lizard brain go, danger, danger, danger. How do I escape it? And your default escape is going to be whatever you've consumed in the ecosystem you're in, right? Like, you go to India, and it might be a different reaction because of how you've been raised and the environment you're in, right?
Or you try to run from it, and you just bring all your problems to wherever you run.
And they're all here.
Yeah, wherever you run, your problems are going to follow you.
The secrets and the annoyances and the anger and the happiness and the joy are all locked inside your head.
That's true.
And people go, I need to go over here and I'm going to be better over there. No, the distraction is over there. And once that wears off, it's the new car in the garage. A month later, it's just a car, right? And so I was in my apartment, and I was done. Like, I told my dad, I was like, dude, he was a preacher, right? And I said, Dad, God fucking hates me, man. And he's like, that's not how God works. And I go, well, he does with me, right? He just hates me. He's trying to kill me. And I'm competitive, right? So I was like, I'm not going to let him win. Fuck that. And, I was like, I was so bitter. Dude, I was so bitter. And so I chambered around, and I stuck a gun to my head, and I said, you better give me a fucking reason to be here, because I'm not going to let you win. Because I thought, if I pass away because of cancer, he won. Fuck you, I'll do it myself. That's what I said. Give me a reason, I'll do it myself.
That's God's grace right there, man.
Dude, when I had this conversation yesterday with someone, and I said, in the last 3.5 years, I have stacked so many miracles back to back that I have lost count. Like 3 years ago, and they just keep coming. And I think it's because when you connect, and when you actually, and this is a little off script, but when you connect and when you actually go, God's got me, man. Like he really does. The more you dive into that, the more he goes, you know it, motherfucker. I got you. Let's go. We're not done with what we have to do yet. And that's really what I believe from 20 years ago. And so I fell asleep. I started bawling my eyes out, and I fell asleep on the floor, and I woke up with a gun in my hand. And 2 days later, I met my wife. And here's where it gets really...
Some things are beyond coincidence. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No such thing, I believe. I really believe God has this crazy plan, and we try so hard to define our way out of it, not to accept that that's what it is. And when I met her, I knew right away. I'm like, I've been in love with you my entire life. I really have. And it's not this, wow, she's hot or she does all this stuff. I mean, yes, she is. It's funny because I told one of our friends, we were standing at jiu-jitsu, and I go, she just wakes up hot. It's kind of aggravating. She just always looks great. But it's true if you've seen my wife. But it's one of those things where I went, like my soul looked at her and went, there you are. I got it. And here's where it gets trippy. We went out for lunch. We didn't know each other at all. And we're sitting across the table in this restaurant, Chevy's, I think it was. There's nobody in this place.
Good place to fall in love.
Yeah, it's wild, right? You want to go, that's where you got to do it, right? I mean, it was the most mild lunch date ever, just to hang out and kind of get to know each other. And I thought, man, I got to tell this woman that I got 9 months at best. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't be this asshole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to do the right thing. And I said, Brandy, I got to tell you something. She didn't miss a beat. She goes, is it about cancer? And I go, oh, I'm a little creeped out. How? Like,
that's crazy, man.
How do you know that?
That's crazy.
And she says, and she was a trainer at the gym.
I would have fucked you down like you have herpes, don't you?
I would, yeah, right. Well, the things that go through your head is like you're married, you got a family, you're actually a woman, right? Like whatever it is. Now
I'm a woman with herpes.
Right, yeah, right. Syphilis, tertiary, it's terrible. But it's one of those things where I went, okay, I gotta tell you. She goes, yeah, it's about cancer.
Damn,
yeah.
dude, that's crazy.
And I said, how do you know that, Brandy? And she says, well, the people at the gym, they've been seeing you. They see bloody towels in the hamper, and people said you're not really doing well, and they see you like you're not doing well. And I'm like, well, let me be real transparent. They gave me less than 9 months, and I'm falling apart. And she didn't blink, and she goes, 2 years, 2 months, 2 days, 2 weeks. She goes, I don't care. She goes, I want all of your time. She says, I was struggling getting through this one, huh?
Damn, dude.
20 years, and I still struggle telling the story. Sorry, babe. She says, I'm your angel. She said, I'm here to save you. I want all your time. And that was it. I started crying. She started crying. 3 months later, we were engaged. And 3 months after that, we were married. And it's been a 20-year ride ever since. And she's my best friend, like in a way that very few people understand, because we have people laugh when they hear the phrase because it's always some idiot dude that says it. But we always say, anything you want, babe.
Yeah.
Like we are all in. And we've gone through a ton of this. Like she's had to resuscitate me. I've turned blue on the fucking floor.
People always look at marriage as transactional. You know what I mean? It has to be even always. And
you are on the same damn team. And it is you two versus the universe. And no matter what happens, and if you can't do that, don't get married. Don't do it.
That's great advice.
Because people get married, I think, because they're like, they're afraid of being alone, and they're afraid they're going to miss something. And I'm like, dude, you're settling for something that's going to fuck your life up because you're not all in. We're all in. And that's the way it has to be. And so we went through cancer a couple more times, and I went through chemo. She was pregnant, and she would sleep on the floor in between the coffee table and the couch while we would have episodes of Friends going. I'm black and blue. I'm throwing up. I'm sick as hell. I'm getting skinnier. She's building a baby. And like life was chaos. Like we had no money.
She's pregnant and you might be dying. That's freaking scary.
It's scary as shit.
Scary for both of you.
Absolutely. More scary for her.
Yeah.
Because I went, and what's funny is we had so many people bet against us. They were like, why are you getting married to this guy? You're stupid.
Isn't it insane that people like work against you?
Or so many people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Yeah. What are you doing? You guys can't do that. You're crazy. And now they're going, wow, you guys are really lucky. Luck. That's what it has to do with. Absolutely. Fucking spot on.
Maybe I just trusted God.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, we built a life, but what's funny is we built this life based on coming through quite possibly the worst situation we thought that you could possibly start. Like, if you start there and only work your way up,
Herpes close second, but I mean, that's,
this was running that third. And it was one of those things where we kind of went, and people still hear the story. And like I said, I mean, it still bothers me 20 years later, and I still get torn up when I tell the story. And
you should, man. That's amazing. It's beautiful.
Because it's real, right? And I think that's why people struggle, is they don't really have a story, or they don't think their story. And I've had people say that, well, you're successful because I never had cancer. What are you, nuts?
They say that?
I've had people say that to me. I got off a call one time, a one-on-one coach call. This guy paid me a bunch of money to coach him how to be successful, did nothing I fucking told him to do. And I'll tell you this straight up to everybody that's listening. If you hire somebody, you hire, Judd, to help you be fit and become a fucking athlete and just get out of that well that you dug yourself in, by the way, mentally and physically. Like, you're one of the most cerebral, philosophical people I've ever met. Plus, you understand.
I hope my mom sees this.
Yeah, we'll just send her a copy. Plus, you know your shit. Like, for real. Remember what I said? There's so many people out there that they're like, they pseudo know, they know Instagram information, right? But you actually ask them, like, when, what was the one you asked? RSI? Was that what you asked?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, nobody's going to know what that is. Nobody's jumping off a fucking box. Yeah. Nobody's bouncing around. They're not going to know, right? And I think that's funny because they say they know, but if so, I always think, why aren't you doing it? Number one. And then I go, okay, to know and not to do is not to know.
I always say don't form an opinion until you've practiced your 2 C's, which is curiosity and contemplation.
So good.
And people forget about those 2 C's. Like, whenever somebody asks my opinion.
But that's life.
I check in with myself. I'm like, am I curious about this? And have I contemplated? If not, I'm like, I have no opinion.
And I think that's fair, though, because that demands accountability from yourself before you open your mouth. But I think all of us should do that, right? And it's very easy for people. I'll catch myself and go, well, I know what I'm talking about. Let me explain this. Then I went, wait a minute. Hold on. Is what they're saying valid and applicable? Mm-hmm. And does it come from a place of, I give a shit, or let me tell you about how much I know? Mm-hmm. Because those are 2 different places. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are real excited to tell you what they're thinking next, versus going, let me help you. Let me tell you my next sentence. But you haven't even explained the first one, right? Like, I don't even understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? You're stringing words together, and it's just like yapology. Like, I got nothing from you.
It's like advice is cheap, experience is expensive, but you get what you pay for.
Right.
And so I always listen to people like, have you been through it? If you have, like, I really want to hear this. If you just give me advice from what you've seen, which is valid, you should take in the world around you. But if you've gone through it, like, I want to know.
Yep.
And we've all had our cancers. They just haven't been to that magnitude, and they've been in different forms. Yes. We've all had our struggles. Some of us just fail to see it, and we fail to take advantage of our struggles and fail to see our struggles as our blessings. Mm-hmm. And there are people that might hopefully listen to this that have had loved ones that had cancer and have passed away, right? And there are ones that have had cancer and they didn't end up wealthy and successful, right? Mm-hmm. 2 things there. When your relative dies of cancer, I hate the term they lost their battle. Well, how did they live their life before they died? Because if they did, then they did their purpose here on earth. They impacted you. Now you have experienced losing somebody with cancer. So if you use that and there's a saying that, like, there's a truth and then there's our truth. Mm-hmm. And if we face the real truth, we will reflect it in our behavior. Yep. So God gave you the real truth of the pain of losing someone with cancer. And if you let God into your heart, you're going to reflect that out into the world, and you're going to help other people. Yep. So whoever you love didn't lose their battle. Like, how did they live their life before God took them? Yep. And what did you learn when that happened? Because you will either become another, like, help for society, you will better humanity, or you will become bitter towards humanity. Yeah. And I think a lot of people choose the latter, like probably 80-20. Same inputs, different outputs, man.
Yeah, what you see and who you become are 2 different things, right? Yeah. And I think who you become is the choice. What you see is just the event.
And I'm not minimizing that pain. I've known several people who've lost children to cancer.
Oh, fuck, that's
I
horrible.
Can't imagine.
No.
And
because we're both dads. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, touch wood, I couldn't imagine.
One guy I know came out so tender and introspective and just loving towards his other children. I don't know how much he thinks about it, but, like, that experience of losing someone made him so much of a better blessing to the rest of the world. And
which was the reason. It sucks to say this, man. I'm not minimizing. Somebody's going to hear this and they're going to be like, listen to this guy, and you don't know until you lose a child. And I get it. I don't. And I think that's too, everybody's an expert that never has any experience. And those with the experience, for the most part, hide their experience. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, neither one of those are beneficial. Mm-hmm. But I think if something happens, If you don't pay attention, this is the biggest thing I've learned, because I've done this now 4 times, and the last time I don't get another chance. Like, and I really, and I'm very open about that. I'm like, I lost a lung. I don't get another round at this. If I fuck up again, and if I don't pay attention to the lesson, I don't get to do this again. My next lesson is you're not here. And I think God has a way of going, and I have to be careful how I word this so people don't go, so God's out to get you. No, God's making sure that there's a lesson and I pay attention, which is why I think so many people get tripped up over the same thing over and over again. They're like, I just can never make it. You're not listening. You're not watching. You're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing, and you're trying to outmuscle God. The living God, are you fucking crazy? Maybe just actually tune in to what the lesson is supposed to be. And that's what happened when I woke up, because they weren't supposed to take out my lung. Like, they went in, they were like, we're going to take out this giant mass in your chest, which grew in 3 weeks, which, like, the imaging before and the imaging after, it's like different people.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing I'd ever seen.
Only bad things grow fast. You ever notice that? Only bad things grow fast.
That's such a fact. Yeah, everything that climbs real high real quick falls real hard. Absolutely. And I still remember looking at the x-ray, and I've seen 100,000 x-rays, images, so many. And I looked at it and I knew right away, and I went, I almost got sick. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me again? No way. We were at an urgent care because I was still on oxygen. I started getting worse again after being in ICU and all this stuff. And he went, you need to go to ER like right now. And I'll never forget the doctor taking a knee beside. I actually thought it was going to be just like a pus sac. They'd have to do a thoracocentesis or something. And I was like, oh, so you're just going to drain it, try to be all like calm about it. And in my head, I'm just shitting my pants, right? Because I'm like, holy fuck, man, 48 years old. I can't take these hits anymore. And he puts his hand on my arm, and I'll never forget this guy. And he goes, oh, no. He says, you're not going home. We need to schedule surgery. And I'm like, thoracic surgery? Like, that's not working on my thumb or my wrist.
Yeah, they're
like, you guys are opening me up.
Yeah.
And now there's a whole host of new risks.
Yeah.
And then it was such a crazy trip, because I sat there, and Brandy would come and bring me breakfast, and because the hospital food sucks. And the first time I was in the hospital, I guess it was seven days. And that was a whole other, that was before this. That was the catalyst to all this. It was this nice room and like, but I was dying. Like, that was the time I told you about where I'm like, I was dying. They brought me to the hospital, and they locked her out. That's the most fucked up shit. If there's any of you doctors listening and you were okay with that, any of you medical professionals, and you're okay with locking loved ones out of their hospital, fuck you. That's all I got for you, man. I have no stomach for you. You're a disgusting human being, because you cost people loved ones and being with people that they might have saved. Like, my wife saved my life. I firmly believe, and even yesterday, I'm like, fucking God talked to you and told you to say that to me, even though on the way here. And
I don't want to get into the COVID thing.
No.
But it's like, that's like the forced isolation towards the end of people's lives. These old people, they have a year left, and they have to, like, to the grandchildren through the window. It's like, that should be a choice that those people get to make, right?
Yep. I really struggled with that, because I was in it firsthand, and they escorted her out and locked her out of the building. And she was outside, hysterical, talking to her friend, going, I'm never going to see my husband again. He's going to die in there.
Think about how much imagine that. This doesn't make sense. So they're worried about infection maybe or something, right?
Yeah.
Think about the risk of infection, which is not that great, right? Put a mask on, whatever, versus the trauma and stress caused by your body having to deal with having to see your wife do that.
Yep.
What do you think is going to, like, decrease your risk of survival more?
Facts.
It's like lack of fucking common sense is what bothers me the most there.
Well, it's taking out all the aspects of what defines a doctor. Yeah. Like, and I told you this, like, I take my oath so seriously, and I apply it across everything I do, not just being a doctor. I'm like, above all, do no harm. Sticks in my head so much, but that is in my marriage, in my life, in my fitness, towards my children, towards my friends, in fucking life. Yeah. And I think everybody should think that. Like, what are you trying to harm people for? I
want to paint a better picture. I think we can paint a better picture of who you are now if we take a step back, and analyze who you were before. So, what were you like growing up?
Oh, fuck. I raced motocross, snowcross. Like, and if it could get me killed or go really fast, I was on it.
What part of the country you were born?
Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and then moved to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And 30 below for 2.5 months of the year.
Amish Eskimo, man.
Yeah, right. That's fuck. Yeah, I'm going to get a shirt.
Amish Eskimo.
Amish Eskimo. Yeah, everybody asks me, Lancaster, oh, you're Amish? No, but that's funny. But it was like, I
Well,
mean,
I grew up as Mennonites. It's like, it's like the weird offshoot Amish.
yeah, and that's funny because we were Mennonite when I was growing up. That was it. And it was the most boring church you could ever go to, right? The hymns are on the board on either side, and you just four, and then the pastor would see you at the end and see you later.
That's awesome.
It's the truth, right?
They can build a fucking house, though, man. Those dudes.
Oh, yeah. They would get together and barn raise all day. Yeah, barn raise all day. But that my childhood was, and I was an only child. So and I think people don't understand this. You pull out your phone now and you can talk to your friends. Mm-hmm. And I think people that haven't been subject to that tend to criticize. They're like, well, we're losing people to, they're losing the ability to communicate. And I disagree. I think because I watch our son, who is just this, like our son and our daughter, they're like, our daughter's 18, our son is going to be 16, which still freaks me out. And they're very, like, they're social. They talk to people. They have lots of friends. It's not that we're losing them to social media. The platform of communication is different. Mm-hmm. Because when I was alone, when I was by myself and nobody was around, I threw a ball at a fucking wall. Like I would be like outside the garage.
Did you name the ball?
Right? Wilson, of course. But it's like, that's what I did, right? I'd go bike riding by myself, but I also, technically, I was a latchkey kid. I had a gray shoelace and a brass key. And in kindergarten, I would walk.
My whole thing is like, why do we bemoan our current circumstance if we can't change it? We have to adapt to our environment, right? That's what it's about, adaptation.
Dude.
You have one lung, so you made that one lung as strong as two lungs. You adapted to your new environment. So
we're designed to adapt, though, right?
Yeah. So like
from day one.
Yes, absolutely.
From day one.
Yeah.
Right?
All species should be. That's their nature is they adapt or die.
Dude, and human beings have fucked that up real bad. Oh, we don't want you to adapt. Don't worry. We'll do it for you.
Oh, so true.
But then you become weak, right? And people go...
And then you die in droves.
Oh, so bad. And that's the kind of the nature of things, right? Is I had no choice but to adapt when I was a kid. I had entertained myself. I read a ton of books. I nerded out in school, and yet I raced and did all kinds of stuff.
Very similar growing up to you. Lots of isolation time in my own head. Lots of throwing a ball at a wall to see how that ball bounced back and caught it.
Yep.
Lots of time in the wood to think.
Yep.
It's not always a bad thing because before we communicate, we have to learn to
fishing,
contemplate.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah. That's what I did.
I always tell people contemplate before you communicate. And you have to learn how to be bored and alone with yourself and learn how to think and learn how to entertain yourself. And sometimes every time a kid's bored, and I'm victim to this too with my son. I need to get better about it. He's bored. I give him something to do.
Yep.
It's like, no, be bored. Be creative. And
be creative. We had to be.
Here's a piece of paper, and a pen. See what you can do. See what you can create for me.
And they go nuts at first, but only because I think people tend to run now very superficial. And so when you force them, at first they're going to go against it. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like the people, like whether it's meditating or just having time with yourself.
It's painful. Man.
It's a struggle because at first the thoughts you have are all escape. Right? They're all like, I have to get out of here. I have to do something because you need something to occupy you. No, you need to occupy you because that's where the creativity comes from. That's where you create things.
Sit with yourself and get to know yourself. Try that. A lot of times we don't like who we are, so we don't like to sit with ourselves.
Most people look in the mirror and can't stand who they see, so they run away or they look at who's behind them and blame them.
That's so true, man.
Right? And that's an expensive way to think because next thing you know, you're 65 years old and you're still the same person as when you were 11 and you're still blaming the same people.
Yeah, I know. Well, you'll always find somebody to blame.
If you want.
It's a skill. Like anything else.
Victim is a skill. Absolutely. Life is training, right? Life is training. Everything else is commentary, right? And I heard Brian Tracy say that years ago. And I went, shit, he's right. But you are either training to win or training to lose, and you will become excellent at either or.
So
choose. True. Right? Nobody is luckier than you. Nobody is smarter than you. Nobody is more fit than you. Nobody is more powerful than you. They started early and stayed in the game longer. That is all.
They're more consistent than you, maybe.
Yeah. And that's it. They just kept going. That's the kingdom I built on the horizon. I want to get there. And the only reason I think people don't get to where they want to go, they don't build the life, the marriage, the success, or whatever it is because an easier goal shows up and they go, if I go here, though, it's not quite what I want, but it's almost what I want, but it's not what you want.
Use compromised.
Inside your brain goes, you're a liar.
Yeah.
You're a liar. You lose credibility with yourself because you aren't keeping your word to yourself. The number one skill set, I think, when people, like I say, never miss all the time, and I don't. And I really came to terms with that because I did, and I didn't think I did. And when I woke up in the hospital with tubes coming out of me and the doctor going, by the way, we had to take your lung. Holy shit. I can't miss. I can't. And I looked at my wife and I went, would she be okay if I was plucked out of this life right now? And the answer was no. And I went, you got shit to do, man. You need to do better. And I came out and I burned through all my savings and I had no money and I had no business and I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. And I laid in bed every night connected to an oxygen machine going, I'm a liability if someone kicks in the door.
There's an analogy there. You know how to make somebody a better marksman? You take away all but one bullet.
Force them to hit it.
You don't get another chance, man.
Yep.
You know?
Options, right? Take away the options. And I think that's part of the problem. Life has too many options. By choice, though, right? Like if you and I are going to run a race and we have no choice but to cross that finish line, all gas, and if there's any kind of instrument that has yet to be invented that senses that we are doing less than 100%, we get a bullet in the head, we will have no choice.
Yeah.
Full throttle or nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people struggle is they don't put themselves in a position where it is you have no choice. We go, yeah, but I don't really have to. I'm going to do it because I know it's the right thing, and I'll go all out. All out means you have no option.
Yeah.
None.
A lot of us fear like we're so afraid to lose what we have that we don't risk that to get what we really want and need, you know?
You have to be willing to zero out. And I say this to clients all day long, like one-on-one clients, mastermind clients, it doesn't matter. I say the same thing. And that is if you aren't willing to zero out your time account, your energy account, and your money account. I mean fucking zero. You got nothing. Yeah. If you aren't willing to zero them all out, you don't want what's in front of you.
You know what's funny, man, is I see people all the time that are rich, and you talk to them, and that dude has gone broke 6 times in his life. Like, flat broke. And it's like, no.
Dude, I lived in my car. Like, I've had nothing.
Yeah. It's like, no, man, you just learn how to be rich, how to become rich. And it's like they don't, at a certain point, they don't even fear becoming broke because they're so used to it. And they're like, oh, and like I've had a guy tell me, it's like, it's fine. Like, cause like he was going through, some of his assets were tied up.
Yep.
And, you know, long divorce, he's going to have to sell something. He's like, it's fine. I'm cool with it. I'll just make it back again. He was like 67 years old.
There you go. Do you know why? Because he's done it more than once. One time people think it's lucky. 2 times they're like, okay, I'd do this again. Right? Like if you have to do something, you have to get to that uncomfortable place, right? Where you're like, I think people fear discomfort so badly because they've been indoctrinated with just be comfortable. But that discomfort is where the growth is. We were talking about that pain. It's not pain. Your perception is I have to escape the pain. You should be going, like I tell people, you want to adapt? Go to where it hurts and stay there.
That's right.
Fucking stay there until it stops. Well, what if it never stops? Then you haven't been there long enough.
That's right.
Really, you haven't been there long enough. Like I've trained through the dumbest things that hurt so much. And I will not today. In my video, I should post it because halfway through, I took off my wrist straps and people think I never do this. Like I want to quit all the fucking time. And I took off my wrist straps halfway through the workout and I'm like, I'm done. I got this podcast. I have things to do. I don't have time for this. I have to finish. I took them off, started putting everything away. And then Brandy, she was running with a vest and part of her workout. She ran back in the garage right as I was putting them back on because in my head, my brain went, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You never miss. You cannot go out and talk to anybody ever again if you do this today. Because then you're a fraud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do that. So I
I
put them
tell
back
people,
on, fucking did it.
What
finished.
advice would you give to you right now? Like, I need advice. I'm like, what advice would you give to you right now?
Keep your word.
Yeah, keep your word.
That's the best advice. People look for these fancy, okay, like if I was going to get rich, what would I do? Keep your word. What about fix your marriage? Keep your word.
To other people and to yourself.
Yeah, yourself is so important. I think people are so quick to come up with, they explain away, right? Let me explain away this, but you don't understand my circumstances. I got one fucking lung. What else? Well, yeah, but you don't understand though. Like I've been married a really long time, 20 years. What else? We could do this all day. I got kids, me too, 2 of them. You want to keep doing this? I could do this all day. I will outgun your explanations with truth every time.
I'm the opposite. I give you 3 excuses and I walk away.
Yeah. Like
I'm like, you become better at excuses and I become at solutions.
Yeah,
apparently.
It is a skill set.
So it's like, all right, go.
It's a skill set. And I think a lot of people don't even know they do it.
Yeah.
And here's why though. Honestly, I think it's because it's tolerated. My dad would have smacked me in the mouth if I would have come up with explanations. He'd be like, are you nuts?
They can do it so fast too. It's crazy how
It freaks me out.
And I stop and I'm like, man, the calculations you had to do in your brain to use that, it's like 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon.
To connect all that,
you got really good at this skill of making excuses.
Yeah. Right?
So if people go to your socials, man, and they see the workouts you do, just look at it and know that this dude has 1 lung. It'll be even more amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So
It wasn't always like that.
I want to paint this picture.
Yeah.
So you were very active. You were a hockey player and an athlete. It just to show the magnitude of the loss you suffered. Because other people, when they lose a lung, it's not a big deal. So like they get more gas when they go get their latte in the morning. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For you, that was devastating.
Completely.
Because part of your identity was potentially being yanked away from you in the mind. You thought
It's such a great way of, yeah, because I had everybody telling me though too, they're like, you're never, and it was like, well, you're 48. And behind the scenes, nobody knew that I was going to blow through all the money and come out going, holy fuck, we just got this crazy, beautiful home and we have all this stuff. We just started this life that we were going to ride off into the sunset in because we were done doing all our stuff. I had to start at square fucking one, not just with finances or business, but with my life, with who I was. I had no self-worth. I felt like such a failure. And that's where I think people struggle.
Good catchphrase. Can't have net worth until you have self-worth.
Yeah, that's so true.
Write that down.
Yeah, just write that. All I heard was Van Wilder. Write that down. Right? If you know, you know, right?
Oh, yeah. That's where I get it from.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. That guy, man. But I think that's the problem is people try and cover their lack of self-worth with an image, right? And so I came out, and I mean, I went in and to the hospital. I mean, I remember the doctor saying to me, the surgeon, going, "You would not have made it. If there is any reason to be like, I need stack muscle, not just be like, well, I'm a marathon runner and I run. Fuck your marathons. You need to have muscle all over you."
Yeah.
And people get real weird about that. Screw your dad bod and your frumpy fat
How
mommy
many times
body.
do you hear like people being in an accident? You're like, you wouldn't have survived that if you didn't have that
Every
much muscle.
time. When I work trauma, that is what I would tell people. Dude, you survived because you were covered in real resilient tissue, muscle.
How did you, I want to back up and go to your accomplishments before cancer. How did you get into medical school? What college did you go to? And what
So I was University of Manitoba. I did all my stuff in Canada. I went through, came out, practiced trauma for almost 2 years.
as an ER surgeon?
Yeah. And then actually just over 2 years.
In Canada?
And then I was like, I can't do this because I realized I was a legal drug pusher and I saw Man's Inhumanity Man. And 6 months onto the job, I had to tell a dad that his 9-year-old son didn't make it. And I watched this guy crumple to the fucking ground.
My son's 9.
It was horrible. It was the most horrible thing. And I mean, I'm sorry to say that because Levi's 9, but it's like to see that. And I was just a kid. Yeah. Right? Like I was really just a kid, just a snot-nosed kid doctor. But at the same time, to see this man literally disintegrate. And it's never left my head. And I spent 3 hours in a janitor's closet bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I can't fucking do this. And then I was like, I was sick all the time. I was strung out. And next thing you know, I'm down in California. I'm going to Cairo College. I went through sports med. And I was like, this is so much better. And I mean, there's a whole history about why I did that. But it was because essentially I went to a chiropractor and I was like, these guys are going to break my neck. One of my guys goes, you should go. And I go, are you crazy? Those guys are like witch doctors, man. Which is indoctrination. Because when I went to Cairo College, I went, I'm learning more here than I did in med. Holy shit. This is crazy. And I went, I had no idea. It was a humbling experience.
It's not what it used to be, and it's not what
they're a little
think
weird.
it is.
I won't say that. Some of those chiros are fucking weird.
Chiros are different though, man. It's not just corrections anymore. It's like muscle strengthening and
I went against the grain so bad. Like the board was always gunning for me because I never listened to them. I'm like, you're going to tell me that an insurance company, and this is like a different topic, but you tell me that my patient needs 2 visits. They got hit by a car at 60 miles an hour. Are you high? Yeah. No, I'm going to fix them. Well, technically you're not allowed to. Cool. Have you had one of these yet today? Like, I'm not going to listen to you because my job is to take care of the person. Yeah. And I always put that first. And it always got me in trouble. And I always went head to head with people except the patient. And I go, but that's why I went to school. Yeah. To help the patient.
You took an oath, right?
Yeah. And even that, like, I'm here to help. I'm not here to go, I have to listen to someone's rules that knows nothing about your situation or even general like healthcare whatsoever.
It's an insane system.
And it's a broken system. Yeah. And when people go, well, but it's the best one we've got. Wrong. It's not. It's absolutely not. And I think like you and I spoke about that where, here's this pill and you could take the pill like Advil and go, I just plugged them unfortunately. So just an NSAID, let's say. And you could say, well, causes, bleeding bowels, kidney dysfunction, kidney disease, liver failure, gastrointestinal distress, stroke, heart attack, hypertension, side effect, relieves headache.
Crazy.
Just spin it's the same thing. Like there's no such thing as side effects. There's
when
only
I had
effects.
surgery, they put me on some kind of opioid for a while. And I just remember thinking, well, the pain's kind of still there, but I definitely feel high right now.
Yeah, that's what opioids do. They make you forget that you hurt.
It's like, holy shit, this it's crazy.
And it's a dangerous world because it's very easy because better health through chemistry, right? Designer drugs, even neurological stuff, right? You're fucking with brain chemistry, SSRI. Are you nuts? My brain? No way. No way. Man, God put that in there. I am not messing with that computer because we don't even know half of what that thing can do. I firmly believe. I think I'm a walking, talking example of the fact that there is no capacity. That's what we were talking about before this podcast. Totally. Is people come out and they go, well, I've reached capacity. No, you've chosen to stop. They're not the same. Because every day I take the wins of yesterday, whatever they are, and those become the baseline for today. People go, how'd you get to where you are? Because every day is, I have to beat yesterday, and I'm not competing with it. I'm going, those are just the baseline. So if I don't do that, I'm actually going backwards because I've already done it, which means I can do it. So if I'm going to repeat it, I'm not going anywhere. It's like we talked about novel stimuli, right? Like that's what my novel stimuli is I go, this is the win for today, whatever it is, workout, mindset, finance, I don't care.
In order to do that though, you're looking at several factors. Have to be courage, to be in consistent pain. And pain comes in a lot of factors. It can be physical and emotional. It can be uncertainty or anxiety, pain. You have to continue to be curious and open-minded and willing to be wrong, right?
Oh, all the time. I'm wrong all the time.
Yeah, you have to be forward thinking. There's a lot of things that have to be present for us to before us not to find our capacity, because your capacity is the limits that you set for yourself, right?
Yes, that ceiling, it comes from you. Yeah, because I look at what people. There is nothing. I really believe there is no difference in people outside of genetics. Like if you look at like Anatoly, right? You ever watch that guy? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? That guy is so insanely strong, it almost hurts to watch. So cross-sectional muscle density is probably off the charts with that guy, right?
Yeah.
However, that's the genetic factor. But it's like when people set targets, somebody could want to be like, if I was like, okay, I want to run whatever you run a 40 and I want to be able to jump as high as you, it doesn't matter. And I could go, all right, I'm going to follow what you do. Tell me what you do. And I'm going to follow all the training. But if I don't follow it exactly, I mean, to the letter, even right down to sleeping and eating and exactly what you tell me to do.
Intention matters too.
I won't get it. And then if I'm in that moment and I doubt, I won't get it because it's not the goal you set. It's whether you believe you can.
Have you ever seen like the people in the middle of something trying to balance, the minute you can see when they doubt, they fall off like immediately.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You get in your own head and you turn off everything that says you can. I just talked about this on a coach call where I said, how many of you guys have blown a lift with something that you've done? Like you're going to do a snatch or clean and jerk, and you've done it. You've done it 100 times and you blow it, and now you don't do it. You don't, and you wait till the next week. And I go, you know what you need to do? Fucking finish it. Because otherwise you will believe that you can't and it's not conscious, right? Or you're halfway through a pull and you go, nope. That was doubt because the power's there. Neurologically, you could do it. You said you can't, right? And that's the capacity limit, I think.
Sometimes kids won't get a lift and I'll have them back off the weight.
Yep.
And they think that we permanently backed off the weight. I have them back off. I have them succeed.
Yeah.
And then I start
Stack
over.
A win.
I built on a lesser success. Yep. Now we're going to start adding weight again. And more often than not, they get it. But I'm not going to have them sometimes try the same way they just failed at, because then it's risking them stacking failures. Back off the weight, do what you can get,
the failure, right?
And then let's build back into it.
So good.
Yeah.
Yep. So good. And I think that's where people make mistakes with achieving anything, whether it's a marriage or self-worth or getting fit or losing weight. I honestly, or making millions of dollars. I don't think any of that is hard. I really don't. And I think it's being taught that it's hard. I don't think it's hard. I think it takes longer than you think.
They make it so easy to make money in this world.
It is there is more the opportunity. Holy shit! The opportunity to make obscene amounts of money right now ethically.
Ethically, that's a key point. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, if you're willing to." No, ethically.
Yeah. And you're not morally bankrupt, and your compass is all skewed. I mean, ethically, by helping. Like you can have anything in life you want, provided you help enough other people get what they want. Right? Like Zig Ziglar, I think, is the guy that said that, and I think that's the truth. But most people get up every morning and go, what can I take? That's why you're fucking broke. What can I give? Yep. What can I give? People will throw money all day at you. Just don't expect that when you post on social media, all of a sudden you're a celebrity, you deserve money, and people should buy your little $27 fucking PDF. Come out with value.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
I always tell people, like, your purpose lives where your passion and service to other people intersect. So find out
So
what your
good.
passion is, and then find out how you can use that passion to serve other people. And then that's your purpose. And then it doesn't matter if you succeed or fail, you're living your purpose. And then
Yep.
that's success. And then if you're passionate about it, you're going to succeed. Like,
If you never stop, you know how hard it is to beat somebody that never quits? You can't. You can't. And I tell people all the time, I go, you understand that you will never beat me. And they go, oh, it's always us. Oh, listen to this fucking guy. Dude, you have left a dent in your couch for the last 17 years, yelling at the same team, thinking you own any of those fucking players. Are you nuts? You don't do anything.
I know you're not
promise-
that guy.
Yeah.
The name on the back of your jersey,
It's
you're not
you,
him.
right? You know that just because you dress like it when you yell at the screen, which is still weird. But that's like, I can't be beaten because I will not stop. And when people go, that's arrogant, I'm like, you don't understand the definition of arrogance. Arrogance is, I don't need your help because I can do it even though I know nothing. What I am is fucking cocky. And you know, I promise you, every successful businessman, athlete, Brandy and I were just talking about this, is cocky because they go, I know I can do it.
And sometimes doing it entails finding people that can help you, or that will teach you, or that, you know what I mean, or dropping your pride.
You know what?
I'm not going to fail because I'm willing to drop my ego and figure it out.
The best thing you can do is pay somebody to time collapse your life. And people are so unwilling because I'm going to take this course, I'm going to watch this video, I'm going to read this book, and then they shelf that shit and they placate themselves because they go, I have the book, I have the access to it, I have the PDF, I have the video, I'll watch it later, and they go right back to distraction. I go, but you didn't do anything, but you're convinced. That's why most people don't read past the first chapter of a book, because they go, well, I have it though, so I can look at it anytime I want, so I'm safe. But you're still in the life you're trying to escape, and now you're going back to the distraction that is pulling you away from the life you're trying to escape. If you get up every morning and purpose is the best thing, and you have purpose, you cannot be stopped because you don't want to stop. And people go, oh, how do I find my purpose then? I get this question all the time. These guys will pay me 50 grand a year and they'll be like, okay, I need my purpose. Okay, absolutely. Here's how you find it. It's there when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're glad, when you're tired, when you're full of energy. It is always that same fucking thing that is in your mind. That's your purpose. Do that.
Yeah.
And they go, I never thought about it that way. What is that thing? And they'll be superficial. Well, I'm really pissed off that my ex-wife got the car. That's not your purpose, man. That's not your purpose. But I'm always like, the question I tell people to ask all the time is, what else could this mean?
Yeah,
Keep digging on that until you get to the same answer over and over again. It might take 20 minutes. It might take 2 hours.
Why are you pissed off she got your car? You love your car?
The why question nobody wants to ask. It's like, how? Yeah, but you can't have how. Why? Because you know what happens when you ask why enough? The how just shows up.
That's so good.
Right? And people struggle with that all the time.
Yeah.
What else could this mean?
It's like kids, right? I love it when kids are like, why? And then why?
That's the best question
And then
they
it's
can
annoying,
ask.
but after a while, you're like, yeah, why? Why is that? And then you think these deep thoughts because you just keep asking why.
Kids are so much more intelligent than we give them credit for, because I think we think, because of the hypnosis of social conditioning, that we know everything because we're the adult. However, I've thought, like, Brandy and I, we look, and in particular, our son has these little snippets where I go, where the hell did that come? Yeah, and I really believe all kids, and this is probably going to spark a whole bunch of debate in the comments somewhere, but all kids up until about 5 years old, complete genius. I really think they are.
Because they see through the bullshit and they see the truth of everything.
They catch the disease of limitations from the adults around them going, no, you can't do that.
Every kid just assumes they're going to be great.
Yeah.
Because they're already great to themselves. So they just assume they're going to be great. And we kill it. You know what I mean?
It's such a disgusting thing when I see parents go, no, Tommy, don't do that. I'm like, Tommy, fucking jump. But it's like 10 feet. Fucking jump. We can take you to the doctor, fix your leg. Jump. And people are like, dude, you should never be a parent. My kid could beat up your kid, right? That's literally what I want to say, right? And it's like, because I get so tired of that. Like, I jumped off of so many stupid things. I've had so many crazy crashes, and I've stuck things in so many outlets, and I've been electrocuted, and I shot a nail gun through, it missed right between the radius and the ulna, went right through the membrane, and stuck to the board underneath. Because when I was a kid, this is the dumbest thing. Like, I've had such crazy shit happen to me and Brandy knows the story, because in construction houses, of all things, and some contractors are going to be, you're the motherfucker that screwed shit but they left all their tools in them when I was a kid, because you know what? Nobody was a dirty piece of shit thief.
Yeah.
People were honest, they had integrity, and they were afraid of the consequences.
Yeah.
Right? It was I swear to God, everybody in my neighborhood could beat my ass and my dad would have been good.
Yeah.
Good. You bet your ass. Did he fuck up? Yep. Good. Smack him around. Now it's like, we don't smack our kids. Well, I don't care if you smack your kid or not, but they should get shit if they fuck up. Oh, well, I think that's negative reinforcement. That's why your kid throws like this and he wears a dress and his name's Bill. Like, come on. And it's really frustrating because as a parent.
I'm going to sit in that for a minute.
Fuck. Because you see it, right? Like you see it. You're like, you have a litter box in the back of your fucking house for your child. I can't do this because that's the problem with that is you are creating such an ugly monster for their future based on your fears. Because you want to be accepted, so you indoctrinate your child to be you.
And you can be tender when you do that too. You don't need to
all day.
You don't need to like insult them and degrade them. You can be.
That's not being a good parent.
It's just like God is with us. Like he doesn't protect us from our mistakes sometimes. He
wants
us,
like I said about
and it
this,
hurts him to see us. Yeah.
He doesn't want you to hurt. He wants you to learn.
He wants us to learn. I remember Levi is still learning. He's a little bit behind, still learning to ride a bike, and he's going down a hill. And this guy is walking up. He's like an older guy, and he doesn't make room on the sidewalk. And Levi is so afraid of hitting this guy, he swerves off and he hits a fence pretty fast.
Okay, ooh, that's ugly.
And I can tell he's pretty hurt and shaken up. And he's looking at me right away to see how he should react. And I, run down the hill and I comfort him, and I can tell him he's shaking. And the first thing I tell him a story about how I wrecked my motorcycle when I was a little kid, and I was afraid to get on it for 2 years. And I always look back and I feel that, and I regret not being on that motorcycle for 2 years. And I was like, I'm so proud of you for being so tough, and I'm going to be more proud of you when you just get back on that bike and you just finish pedaling home. And I didn't give him an option. I just like, I'm gonna be so proud of you when you do it. And the whole time he's shaking. Yep. And when he got in the car, I said, dude, I'm so proud of you.
But he did
so proud of you.
And you rewarded the fuck out of him for that. Everybody that's listening, you understand that what you did more for his self-worth than anything else you could have done, because he walked away from that going, I'm a fucking superhero.
So he
had to go through it.
You show empathy, so you can relate. You understand that they're scared.
Yeah, you don't call him a loser. You give them love.
You tell them a story that you went through it, and then you show confidence that they can overcome it.
Yeah, you believe in them more than they believe in them.
It's a system, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you know me, then you know I'm a supplement guy. Yes, theoretically, we should be able to get all of our macro and micronutrients from the foods we eat. But realistically, that's very difficult to do. And just to ensure that I don't fall short on a daily basis, I lean heavily on First Form supplements. I've used and loved their products for years. I especially love their reds and greens because I'm not a big vegetable guy. I love their protein products, Level 1 and Formula 1. I like Level 1 before I go to bed, and I like Formula 1, especially their Formula 1 Clear, right after I work out. I love their omega-3s and their microfactor. If you're interested in learning more, go to firstform.com/Judd, links in my bio, and give them a try.
The blueprint for life is not that complicated. Do good. It's GIGO. Good out, good in, good out, right? It's not that, like Brandy and I, there's a story. This is such a crazy story because when I came out, I still had an oxygen machine on me. I was like 150 pounds. I had 5-pound dumbbells, 10 maybe. I don't remember. They were real small. And I was sitting on a rogue box. I have the video. And I always love when people go, I'm sure we'll never see this mysterious video. I'm like, bam, now what? I never miss, right? I'm like, okay. And I was doing these, I think I was Arnold presses, right? And I was struggling so hard. Like I was maybe 4 reps in, little blue oxygen machine kicking in the background, just making all kinds of noise. And I was gassed, and you could see me, like my shirt is soaked. I got these big knobby knees. I'm all skinny and weak. And if people don't understand, it would be the equivalent of you going from looking like that to going to this, like this. And I'm not saying it to be like to insult myself or anything. I'm saying that
I'm thinking how bad that would actually be.
Losing that much power, right? Losing that much power that you have, the ability, and I really mean that, losing that kind of explosive power that you've got on tap, and all of a sudden it's gone in a matter of 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's not that you gradually aged, right? Which is different, and I get it because I pick up things
hard in its own way.
Fuck, I remember I used to be able to lift this like crazy.
Like flowers for Algernon kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but it was so fast, and it was like even visually, and so you become like, it's almost self-deprecating. You just sit there and talk shit about yourself all day long because you can't get your head out of it, and that's dangerous because you start to believe it, right? Like my wife said one time, she goes, "You got to be careful what you say to yourself because you're listening."
It's true. man.
And I went, fuck, that's smart. Yeah, my wife is so smart. Brandy's so intelligent. So, and I've learned, like, we learn a lot from each other. That's why our marriage is so good. We do. Like, we're just always like superheroes together, right? And
that's so cool, man.
One time I'm sitting on this box, and it was shortly after I'd been home, and I was frustrated. And I was shaking to put these little dumbbells up, and I'm huffing and puffing. And it was like something where you're like, dude, like a sixth grader should be able to do this. And I knew what I could do before. So it's like somebody just flicked a switch and turned it all off, and it fell apart. I just fucking snapped, and I threw the weights like 4 feet because that's all I could. And I just fell apart, started crying. And Brandy's doing thrusters with, I think, 95 beside me, like over to one side. And it was the middle of her workout, and she drops everything, comes over and grabs onto me. And as soon as she grabs onto me, I just fall the fuck apart. And she's hugging me, and she's saying, she's whispering into my ear, you're the strongest. And it's true. It's not I'm going to fluff you, right? It's like, I actually know this is who you are. And you're the strongest man in the world. Like, you really are. You don't, like, I know how strong you are. I've never seen anyone like you. Because I would go out there and suffer I would suffocate every workout.
There's different forms of strength.
Yeah. And it all starts psychologically, because that's how you have to believe before you do it, right?
That's right.
And then she said this, and you reminded me of it. She went, now come on, you got to finish the workout. Yeah. And I'll never forget that. She goes, come on, babe, you got to finish that workout. And I was like, all right. And I did. And it was every time, like, I would make people go, dude, that's pretty messed up. You would suffocate for every workout.
Good friends don't give you an out. They give you a reason. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
they don't fun. Let you fail because they don't give you the option to fail. Yeah. They help you achieve.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt. It's going to suck. But, it doesn't matter as long as, and I said, even when I started, she believed in me when I didn't believe in me, right? And we do that back and forth all the time. Yeah. I'll believe in her when she doesn't believe in her. And that's how it should be.
That's how God intended, man.
And yeah, I really believe that.
They're your partner. Like, he knows we're going to be weak. Give us somebody that's there when I need them to. They be strong for me, and I'll be strong for them.
Yeah, the amount of horsepower we generate together as a team is fucking frightening.
I hear that all the time. Successful couples, they just
and it's the real deal, right? You can always smell those ones that are like, yo, yeah, we're great together. You should see we're a power couple. The fact that you called yourself that tells me already that you're not, right? I don't need to hear anymore.
Yeah,
because it's like the person it's like the alpha doesn't really need to tell everybody that they're an alpha, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You don't need to wear a shirt that says I'm an alpha, right? You have cologne that says alpha. Like, nobody needs, like, it's like the person that's like, let me tell you how cool I am. You really want to go there? Because I think that's going to be a struggle for you. How about you just do you? You're the best
great,
at
people
it.
tell you you're great. You don't need to.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly, real achievers don't need to brag, right? And it's not even that. And coming back to that story, I think that belief is important, but I think that needs to come out everywhere. Like, your job is to, if you're a troll and you're just a shitbag and you're coming to just spew your funk into my life, I'm going to cut you off at the knees. I don't have time for that because my life is too important. I'll give you advice. I always tell people, I poke you once with something that's probably going to piss you off intentionally, and then I just let you run the comments and feed the algorithm. But outside of that, I'm not going to sit there and try and, like, help you feel better with your limited, like, screwed up, fucked up belief system that you want to cling to. Because I've been you. I've been so low that I've wanted to end it. Because I don't want to be here anymore. Because I thought there was nothing for me. I've been so low that I looked at my life and everybody else went, you're never going to make it, bro. I had somebody tell me, enjoy your short wind-sucking life. When I was talking about getting healthy, in my comments, I'll never forget this. Somewhere I have a screenshot of it, and I went,
Bro, what is going on inside you to make that?
You're a fucking human.
What's going on to make that stuff come out of you?
That's dark. Like, that is some dark shit.
Jesus said we are made dirty not by what goes into our mouths, but the things that come out of our mouths. I think we forget about the things Jesus said, and we focus on some of the wrong things.
Well, we allow the world to tell us to give us the word instead of the word to govern the world, right? True, and I think, dude, the Bible first, put everything else under it, you're golden. The best personal development book I think ever written is the Bible. And the greatest role model ever created, God. Stop fucking around.
For sure.
And I think people go, they believe in, I love when people believe in God and Jesus. I mean, this could be the greatest theological conversation on earth because you get it. And they believe in God and Jesus when he is loving and kind and forgiving. And they forget about the fact that God has wrath. And he will melt the fuck out of anything if you do not do what he said. He doesn't ask. He commands. The end. And I think if you fall, and it's because people look at rules as restrictive. And we have this conversation with our daughter. My daughter is such a badass, and she's stubborn, right? Like she's like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it just because you told me to do it, which can serve you if you channel it right. It'll demolish you if you don't. And I think rules give you so much freedom, because if you stay along the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, doesn't mean you're not going to get buffeted everywhere. But it means that if you keep going that direction and you have the rules and the discipline to stay that direction, you can't help but succeed. And it gives you so much freedom.
Yeah. Rules give
so much freedom.
Rules give us freedom. God gave us rules for our heart.
Yeah.
He didn't give us rules. The 10 Commandments and things were rules for action because we needed it at that moment. Really, what Jesus did was he gave us rules for our heart. And sometimes our actions don't always reflect what's in our heart, but usually they do.
Yeah.
And usually if somebody's doing bad things, it's their heart is in the wrong place, right? So it's like he didn't say we had to eat a certain food or do a certain thing.
No.
Or, like he gave us rules for our heart. And if you follow those rules in your heart, your actions are going to reflect that. So if somebody's saying something mean to you, it's like, well, what's going on in your heart right now?
That's always what I say. What you say about me says far less about me than it does about you. Yeah. And people...
And I've been there too. I've said dirty, mean stuff to people, and then I just like, it's because I'm not feeling his presence.
But you know what's the difference? You know it.
Yeah.
Some people, they go down that hole so bad. Yeah. And like, I've had people say it, like I talk about my marriage very openly about how like I have the best marriage in the world. Like I really do. I think I have the most kick-ass.
People don't like to hear that, man.
No, and because they're not. Right?
They don't like to root for other people.
No, yeah, that's it. Real recognizes real, but there's not a lot of real. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I always say. I go, real recognizes real. That's true. There's just not a lot of real. And I think people are they're like, I'm unconditional. No, people root for you on one condition, that you don't get better than they do. Mm-hmm. Once you show that either their excuses are invalid, their limitations are self-created, they start going, lie, like they call bullshit on everything you do because they can't, not because you can't, right? Oh, no way you could do that. Here's the video. Now what? Well, you can't make that much. Here's the credit card statement. Now what? Like I could do this all day, because it's easy to go through your life just telling the truth. I don't give a fuck. There's so many people that make so much more than me, have way nicer cars than me, are way more fit than me. I don't care. Mm-hmm. This is me. So if you look at me and you say you're not, that's your problem, not mine. And I think that's where social media really struggles, because it gives people a place to validate why they aren't because you are, and because they can't in their mind. Goes back to capacity. Yeah. I don't think there's a capacity. I just don't. I haven't hit 3.5 years. Dude, I haven't hit capacity. I can do shit now. Like, you're never going to run. I run all the time. You're never going to be able to do this. I do it all the time. Like, how many pull-ups do you do every day?
I'm still shocked that people, especially doctors, still tell people what they can't do, what they'll never be able to do again. Why would you say that as a doctor?
I would never. I think if you told people the mortality rate, if you inverted it, when you tell people about whatever's going on in their life, if you inverted the number and you didn't say 10%, like 90% mortality rate, if you were like 10% mortality rate, more people would survive. Because I think the power of your mind is so insane. Because had I not believed in my ability to come out of what I went through, I'd be the fat guy on the couch with 12 prescriptions.
Walk me through the first 2 months of that.
Oh, what a fucking nightmare. Sure. So I remember my first workout. So I came out of the hospital. I would do laps around the nurse's station. I was plugged into the wall first for the first 24 hours.
I love people that don't do cardio because the gym's closed or it's cold outside. Yeah. You were literally doing laps around the place where you're recovering from cancer.
Oh, it gets better. Yeah. They keep a vacuum tube attached to the wall for about the first 24 hours to make sure you don't get like a pneumo, right? Pneumothorax, a lung collapse for everybody that doesn't know. And so once you're safe and they check, well, you have tubes in you, and the tubes go to a box filled with my blood and all kinds of shit that's coming out of me, out of my chest. And plus I had IV. So I had all this shit that I had to carry around. Well, the first day, it was a half hour after surgery, and give or take. And I remember I still remember I was still high. And I said, get me out of the bed. And they were like, you just had thoracic surgery. That's not going to happen. Well, it's either the floor or you help me. Make your choice. And they're like, okay. And there's a video of me literally hobbling around this room, my bare ass in the back of this gown, I think I held my gown and I walked around and she's filming the whole thing. I'm doing laps around the room and then they finally unplugged me and there's a whiteboard in the room. This pisses off so many people that hear this because they're like, I work in healthcare. You wipe that off. That's for us. I'd wipe off everything on the board and I would write down how many laps I did and what my O2 stats were. So I was keeping track of my own shit. And finally it was thinking about day 3, maybe day 3, day 4. And they were like, can you just tell us what your O2 stats were and just keep that on there at least? Awesome. I'm like, that's cool. Because I would leave and I asked them, I said, where can I walk? And they said, you can stay in these doors and these doors. And so my first lap took me about 10 minutes and I'm hobbling around, the nurse's station. I think I maybe did 4 laps, 5 laps the first time. I remember Brandy came and I think I had done one already without, it was the only night she wasn't there. And I think she had to go, because she had to go take care of the kids. She was such a rock star. Took care of the family, took care of the kids, came back, slept on a little tiny ass green couch. It was about half the size of this, made out of pleather in this room and just made sure I was okay. Like it's fucking gangster.
I love the imagery there because it's like you slide down a mountain and you're in rock bottom, right? And we're so tempted to at least see how high that mountain was that we slid down. And then instead, what you did, you just took a step up the other side. Yeah. And every day,
1 foot.
You just looked at where you came from rather than where you had ended up. Yeah. And then before you know it, you've climbed a mountain higher than where you were before.
And that's a great way because I look now and I go, dude, I was way down there when I thought I was killing it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
It's crazy.
And because I only look at I have the kingdom I want to create, and that is always my North Star. And I know that I have somebody that can help me get there. I know that if I help enough people get to where they want, I will get to where I want, because people go, what's your life mission? And I go, well, that's easy. I want to build a life, and I'm going to do it. A life that's so fucking big, so big. I mean, astronomically huge. I don't care, money, fame. I want it all. Because I want it so it can fit everybody else's life and dreams and hopes and aspirations and success in it.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
And that's why God's blessing you. So I want to clarify for people, because you're not ashamed of your wealth, right? No. People assume that's bragging or that you're focused on material things. I think it can get misconstrued for some people. But the thing is, you have a purpose and a service-driven life, and you have a passion for other people, and you're not ashamed to show the fruits of that passion that you've been blessed with. Now, we get blessed with different things. Some people aren't blessed with wealth. They're blessed with a big family, or they're blessed with the fruits of the joy that they've spread to others.
It's all winning.
Yeah. It's like your focus isn't on your material things. No. Your focus is on a big life that will house others.
Yeah. And that's exactly, I want to build my life so big, and I'm going to, that I can stuff everybody else's life in it who wants to win and just take them all away with, like, everywhere. And
it's
and
funny.
I think a lot of people
want
don't
the
do
same
that.
things, and I'll dig and I'll ask why. And like the reason why, to me, is always a really good predictor of if they're going to get it or not. And I think it's a God thing. But it's like, well, what you want to get rich in a big house? Why? Because I want to just, I want to take care of my family, and I want my mom to come home, and then they have that big house. I just always want a big house, man. I see these other people have it. Why can't I have it? And they never have it.
Nope.
It's like,
your purpose, because you don't have that reserve switch on your tank to keep going when it sucks.
That's right.
That's why.
Because you'll never be as strong for yourself as if you're strong for others.
Yep. If you have that mission, you can't stop. And it's like I said about the workout today. Halfway through, I'm like, no. And then I went, what are you doing, man? You never miss, and you say it and you're proud of it. Don't you fucking quit now, because then you're a fraud. And I won't do that. And I think there's so many people like that, right? Which is why I just kept doing laps. I think my last day, it had to have been 70 laps around that. Like, I just kept going. And it was finally like, we walked past this one lady, I remember one time, that worked there. And she goes, well, you really want to get the hell out of here? And I went, you have no fucking idea. Like, I'm like, I can't stand it. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, my recovery. And dude, they used a robot to do fucking surgery on me.
I know, it's crazy, right?
6 arms and a guy with a Nintendo joystick.
That's awesome.
Holy shit, right? Like the weirdest thing ever. And the guy that did it, like, we're talking ostrich boots and snakeskin boots. Like, he was making money hand over fist. I asked him, I was scared. I'll be fully transparent. I was fucking terrified, because I'm like, you're going to put me under and open my chest. I had no idea they were going to use a robot. No idea. I just thought I was going to come up with it open with a zipper. Yeah. Like, I really did. And I wake up and I had these big, giant, 6 of them, big incisions, right? From the trocars and all the stuff they put in. And I'm like, you used a robot? And the guy, when I asked him, I go, am I going to be okay? And he goes, I've done about 700 of these. I think it'll be good.
We put another tiny robot inside you that at some point in time will rebel and eat you from the inside out. But until then,
don't worry about that. Don't listen, right? Skynet, it's going online in August 29th, right? Like, we all know the dates. It's already passed, so we got next year now. But it's like, and I had to tell myself to get up. And there were plenty of times, I remember one night or one evening, I was a miserable prick, and I was miserable to Brandy. I was miserable to everybody. And then I realized, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? She's sitting here taking care of you. But then God also is, like, people go, it never happens to you. It happens to me every day.
Yeah.
I always hard reset and go back to, wait a minute. This has nothing to do with anything. It's me bitching out. It's that inner voice. Because I only have two voices. Because you asked me, one of the questions was, what do you think when you want to quit? When you go, you asked me a question that I can answer, which nobody's going to like, which is, how do you determine a training day or a recovery day? I don't have a recovery day.
Mm-hmm.
I never do. I train every day, but I train for a different reason. Mm-hmm. I train to get out of my head. Mm-hmm. When I'm angry, when I'm sad, when I'm frustrated. And what's interesting is Brandy was like that still. Even if she's upset, she runs.
Yeah.
She works out. She gets out of her own head.
We all use exercise for different reasons, man.
And it's I think it's such a great thing to do. But that came back to me doing those stupid laps. I never liked them. Dude, I hated them. I'm like, this sucks. And it always hurt. And I was always winded, and I was always frustrated because I wanted more. Mm-hmm. Right? And I'm like, oh, I'm not there yet. But I kept competing against myself. That's it. What did I do yesterday? All right, 54. Fuck it. And I wouldn't go 55. Dude, I'm doing 70 today. And I would go until I couldn't, even if it took me all day.
I love the metaphor to reps and laps. It's like, it's fucking boring. It's repetitive. Do the same fucking thing. Do it again. Do it better.
Over
do it again.
And
do it again.
over and over again. That is success in anything, whether it's your marriage or your money or your fitness.
Diet,
put in the reps. Yeah. Put in the reps. And everybody wants a quick fix. 2 weeks, they said. 7 days, they're like, you can go home.
That's awesome.
And she had the video, and they pull 2 feet of tube snake out of my side, and it was just like, it was the weirdest thing to this day. I'm like, fuck, sent me home. I'm all scrawny.
I just think a message here too is like, we don't give our bodies credit for how tough they are.
Human beings are so hard to kill.
We're going to send
so
pain
tough.
And discomfort signals far before our body is ready to give up or do stuff it can't handle.
We talked about that, yeah.
And like, you had tubes in you and you were fucking walking laps in the hospital with one lung. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
and I actually, the first time, because she goes, what do you want to do when we go home? We get home. And I remember it was the hardest ride home because every bump, I felt like I was being stabbed with hot pokers inside, right? Because it was brutal. And the first 2 months, you asked me, how were they? The hardest fucking things in my life. Because the demon I had to get over was inside my head.
Would you trade that for anything in the world?
Nope. Never. I would go back and do it again if I had to, because I know who I became because of it.
I hear this all the time. Like, people are like, they know that the first 6 months of something's going to be so hard. I'm like, yes, it will be. It's going to be very hard. And guess what? When you do succeed, you will have never traded those 6 months for anything in the world.
I don't know how to stop. And I think sometimes maybe it's to my detriment. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet, but I don't know how to stop. And I won't. And I think people they go, well, that's not really that healthy. You shouldn't do that all the time. Look at my life. And it's not to be a dick, but look at my life and look at your life. So we drove home, and she goes, what do you want to do? And I said, work out. And people hear that and they go, oh, come on, bro. I didn't go do curls. I put a rogue strap, a belt around me, and a 25-foot rogue strap, and a 45-pound plate on a Fringe Sport. I'm giving these guys all plugs, but it's just what I used. A big Fringe Sport sled with the two
in the show notes,
right? Yeah. If you want to go get them, I'll endorse them. They were good because I beat the shit out of this equipment. And
show notes will be right above that.
I had this big circular driveway, which I learned later was not 400 meters. It was significantly shorter, which was such a letdown when I was running 400s, which Brandy knows because I was like, fuck. So then I ran a 400 and I had to stop 3 times because I realized how far it really was. But I'm doing these laps, and I told her, I said, come get me when I can't.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't even remember how many I did. It wasn't very many, but that was day one. I have never, ever missed a workout since I opened my eyes from the hospital, and people go, well, that's not healthy. Do I have, and my answer's very direct, and most people don't like it because I'm blunt. And I said, do I have, and if they say no, they're nuts. Do I have any aspect of my life that you would want? No. Okay, great. Then is yours better? That's all. If it is, then I should be listening to you. Yeah. I really should. And I think that's where the disconnect is for a lot of people on social media, is they look at, I say this to so many people. I go, if you aren't willing to do 100%, not 99, not 90, not 50, 100%. If you look at somebody and you go, they have everything I want. Mm-hmm. Their marriage, their fitness, their money, their life, everything they got. I want that life. Mm-hmm. And then you hand them the blueprint. and go, here's what you're going to do. And it is a replica of how, all you have to do is go, this is what I do. Because it's not complicated. If you do it, it's not hard to teach. If you're full of shit, it becomes very complicated and they have no answer for you. You want to expose any Insta coach?
Nobody ever likes the answers, though.
What's that?
Nobody ever likes the answers.
No, because they don't want the truth. They think it's going to be easy, right? And you hand them the blueprint. If they aren't willing, and I said this actually in my coach call today, I go, if they aren't willing to do it, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, man, if they aren't willing to do it, every single aspect of that, then two things. Number one, they do not want that goal for real. They don't. And number two is they deserve to stay in whatever fucked up, burned down, dumpster fire catastrophe of a life they have, and they deserve it.
Our lives are reflections, man. You know, like it's true.
It hurts to say it for them, not me.
Don't take this the wrong way. Because like people struggle, right? I see it.
Dude,
I'll
every
see
day.
beat up cars with dents and everything. And a lot of times those people are rude. They cut you off. I'm like, the car you're driving right now is a reflection of the choices you make every day in life. Now, people, they kid on hard times and they struggle. And I've driven beaters too, but a lot of times they'll cut you off. They'll make poor decisions. I'm like, you just made 6 poor decisions in 3 minutes I've been
didn't
around
correct a
you.
single one of them.
Now I understand why you're driving a beater car. Because if you're making all these poor decisions now, you're making poor decisions in other parts of your life too.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
That's true.
And I think people go, well, that's, as soon as I hear this, well, that's not exactly
It's always
true.
a qualifier, man. That's what you're right.
If that's not exactly true, why is it that these people are winning and they all have similarities? And these people are losing and they all have similarities? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. They don't like it because it's like the tolerance thing. I made a post the other day about it, and I said people are tolerant of things they're doing and intolerant of all the shit other people are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really skewed. And I even said it. I go, like God talks about tolerance 3 times in the Bible, 5 depending on the translation, and 100% of the times he rebukes it. It's not fucking good, right? And it's all for sexual sin, actually, to go even deeper into that immorality and stuff. And I'm going, but you guys are tolerant? So let me get this straight. You're better than God? Ooh, that's a dangerous road to walk, man. You're going to get hit by a big rig.
A lot of it too is like, though, tolerance is like, what do you tolerate in yourself first?
Yeah.
Unless you're not.
You get what you tolerate.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right? You get what you tolerate. And I think people tolerate inadequacy because they surround themselves. They look for a group that will support them and inflate them and go, it's okay to be like that.
Sit down with them instead of pulling them up.
They want permission. They really want permission, approval, and acceptance. And the worst part is they want approval and acceptance from people that don't approve and accept themselves. Are you crazy? You're listening to the people that can't stand who they see in the mirror because you want them to approve you, but they only approve you to your face. When you're not around, they're shit talking you just like everybody else.
I love it when people, like you said something like, well, that's unhealthy. You know how many times I hear that with everything in life? That's unhealthy. You don't have balance.
Right.
Well, it's like, you're perfectly balanced right there on average. You're fucking mediocre balanced.
Nobody won prizes for average, man.
What is last time average won a fucking trophy or whatever?
Yeah, what? Show me that. Nobody won. Would you go see an average movie? Do you want an average marriage?
Well, look at greatness. Like anybody that's great and you look at what they did to get great, at one point in time, you could objectively say that was unhealthy, right? Absolutely. Hey, but guess what? We're tough fucking creatures, and we can survive unhealthy to achieve greatness. We can do it. You know, like doctors, they and they stay up late. They get 3 hours of sleep studying. They pull 48 hours. Like people run ultra endurance races
all the time
and break themselves. Guess what? The human body can heal. You know what I mean?
You demand adaptation, and it will adapt. If you stop demanding adaptation, the body goes, I guess I don't need to have
what you do isn't healthy for other people because they haven't built up to it.
Correct.
You know
I mean? I wouldn't, exactly. I think people go, like if you go, I've never run a day in my life and tomorrow I'm going to run an ultra, you're going to wind up just demolishing your knees and your feet and you're going to spend 6 months in a fucking hospital.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But at the same time.
Well, you have learned from that lesson.
Yeah, right? Like let's take notes on doing that and then just go further on that. But you have to go, I had crazy tendonitis in my elbow so bad, dude. And I took it's such a great hack for everybody listening. You take a band, put it on the bar, so you take the load off the last 2 fingers, and it literally takes the elbow pain away. And I got so many people giving me advice. Hey man, I'm a physical therapist. I'm this, I'm that. What you should probably do is, and I'm like, do you know who I am? I did this I was the doctor for the fucking planet for a decade.
Yeah.
I know. I tested a theory, dude. This is so wild because I tested a theory just to see if I still was. Because I demanded adaptation with this, and I stayed in the pain every fucking day.
Pretty soon tendonitis went away.
Go figure. I started to adapt. Well, I did the same thing with this. I demanded the pull-ups. I got so pissed off one night before date night. I had to tap out on a workout. I remember 25 reps in on pull-ups, and I went, fuck, I can't do these. I can't even hold a barbell.
There are certain things that if you don't take care of them, they will lead to bigger things. But stuff like tendonitis, like if you can just fucking tolerate and push it long enough, pretty soon.
Demand the adaptation from yourself.
Your tendon will adapt, man.
Yes, it has to. Yeah. And I went out that night and I set a record for the amount of pull-ups I did in 10 minutes. It was like 165 or something. It was a bunch. And I was so mad because I was like, fuck this. I just got on the bar and I videoed every single one. And I came inside and I go, I just did more pull-ups than I've ever done in 10 minutes, and walked by and got changed, went out to date night. Yeah. Right. And I, because I was so mad, and I used it as fuel, right? Use your fury as fuel, not a reason to pivot and look for an escape. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the same thing. Like, I would suffocate, really. Like, I would be on all fours inside. Texas air is thick. And in the summer, I would get so gassed out in this workout, the first 2 months, in any workout, and I'd be so gassed out that I was for sure, I thought I was going to suffocate. I'm like, I'm going to die. And it was every time. Yeah. And it's that lizard brain we were talking about, right? And I was on all fours, just huffing and puffing. And I would remind myself, okay, listen, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to pass out. Your breathing's going to slow. You're going to survive. You're not going to die, but it's going to suck. Yeah. And then as soon as I started to even get slightly under control, I was back outside, and it wasn't the first time that sucked. It was every subsequent workout after, because I knew what was coming. But what I noticed was 2 months later, I was so much further in capacity. And
but
that's
it still
when
sucked every day.
Dude, and the suck never changed.
Never goes away. That's what people, they just don't want to hear that, and they can't wrap their mouths around. Like, listen, that's not the point. The point isn't to escape pain, it's to escape suffering.
Yes.
If you want to escape your suffering,
so good.
Then put yourself in pain every single fucking day.
Yep.
You know,
and people hear that and they're like, oh, I'm not into this Goggins shit. I go, listen, do you understand his mindset is actually what you need? Yeah. You don't have to take it to his level, and whether you do or you don't is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. You can apply that to anything. Your business, I get up at the same time every day. And every night before I go to bed, I write down what I thank God for, 8 to 10 things. And I write down 2 to 5 things. It's usually 2 to 3, to be honest. Action steps that I'm going to take tomorrow. And they're all from a list I made of things that I have designed for this year to get to where I want to go. And I just reverse engineered my entire life.
You just gave people really practical advice right there. It's genius advice. Before you go to bed, you remind yourself of what you have to be grateful for. Mm-hmm. And then you come up with a plan of action for the next day. Mm-hmm. That sounds so stupid simple, but how many people actually do that?
They won't, because they think it can't be that simple. It is. It's not. There's not a lack of. You don't need more information, man. You need more application. People don't do that. You want to lose weight? Just eat less. You want to be stronger? Just pick up heavy shit. Like you guys complicate it so badly, and then it costs you because you spend a year dipping your toe in the water and wondering why you still can't fucking swim. Just jump. Yeah. Just jump. The worst thing that happens is you got to figure it out on the way up. Yeah. Okay.
I love that. You need less information and more application. I love that.
It's wild, and you know it. Like if it comes down, I caught a post you made where like if you're the CEO, you just made it the other day about working out. Just do this, and I looked at it. I go, that's so simple. Mm-hmm. Just do that. I bet 90% of the people read that and went, "There's no way it's that easy. I need something crazy complicated."
Well, also
that's why you struggle.
It's comprehensive and it's quick, and it's somewhere to start, man. It's like you said, if you've been putting your toe in the water, just put your foot in. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Put your foot in first, see how that feels, and go from there.
It's like we were talking about quitting the workout way. Just go to the gym. Just go. Don't even go in a workout. Just go to the gym. You know, once you're there, go through the doors.
I was listening to this anthropologist, and he was addressing the human body composition based on human evolution and our needs and everything like that. And they found out that like the human body will figure out a way to compensate for 600 calories a day. This is broad spectrum. It's way oversimplified, but about 600 calories a day. So if we exercise and start burning 600 calories a day, our bodies will find a way, even if we eat the same, to balance that energy output, because we want to survive, right? Our body wants to survive.
It is in your DNA.
Yeah. So you know what's funny is like on average, if an average person goes to a gym and works out moderately hard for an hour, you know how many calories they burn on average? About 600 calories. Yep. So we're all doing just enough to stay the same. So start counting your calories at 600. Yeah. That's the first 601 is the one that matters. Because you did what everybody else does. Now you've gotten to where average. Now
you're doing what everybody else does. You're getting what everybody else has. Why are you complaining?
The next rep is what matters after 600. You know what I mean?
That is a struggle for people because they go, well, yeah, but, and then they'll validate on the other side of that equation. Yeah, but everybody else does this too. And that's
look at our bales. Do you want to be like our bales?
And inside, they will verbally say, it's like the people that reduce their goals, right? Like I was talking about, like I set this kingdom on the horizon and I'm always walking towards it. Not God's kingdom. I mean mine, the one I'm building, that I get the keys for, that the motherfucker that's usurped that throne is the version of me that says you can't. Yeah. That's who is sitting on that throne right now. And I'm like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And I will hack my way through everybody on the field to get there. And I will not stop until we are bloodied and I win.
Fuck yeah.
And I think that's where people struggle, is they go, I'm not willing to take it that far. Then you do not deserve it. Then you don't deserve it, because it's the 5 words I tell everybody: whatever the fuck it takes. If you aren't willing to do that, like I said, zero everything out, you don't want it. And well, it's not that intense. Yes, it is. Treat everything as life or death.
I always tell people, it's okay to not want it, man. The world needs a lot of average people.
Yeah.
I need people that do average things
I
and
like
live
my
an average
fries
life.
crispy.
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds like a dick thing. Somebody's going to be like, what an asshole.
Somebody's got to be willing to get
I'm
up
the
every
asshole
day
you
and do
need.
the same thing for the same results, because I need people to work for me too.
Yep. And yeah, my buddy Brad, he said that. He goes, you know what? I got 12 PhDs. I got 6 doctorates. I've got like 7, master's degrees, and they all work for me. And I'm like, yep.
My brother helped me put things in perspective one time. He's special operations and so I was like looking at some people doing some menial job in the Army. I'm like, how could you be like that? How could you join the Army and just be happy doing this shit job? And he's like, you know what? You should be glad for those people that are willing to do average things, because if it wasn't for them, you'd have to be doing that. You'd have to be cooking your own fucking food. And I was like, yeah, you're right, man. He's
Comes
like,
back to capacity though, huh? Like they set the limit and they probably caught it. It's like a venereal fucking disease. Like you catch it from other people and you're like,
I've seen it spread in locker rooms.
It's sticky. Negativity and average and mediocrity is sticky. I don't let anybody negative in my life. I used to tolerate it and be like, let me try and lift them up. Dude, I don't care how good of a swimmer you are. If somebody's clutching your ankles underwater, you are drowning. You're drowning. I don't care who it is. And so I think about that, and I always have to remind myself, you can't save everybody, but I can save that one and that one and that one, because they want it. Right? They want it, which means they come into that bubble, and I will take you all the way up to the top. And I think
I can show you where the top is. I can't do your strokes for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it, right? Yeah. And we talked about the mountain, right? And most people, they say one thing and they will reduce their target to match their behavior instead of elevate their behavior to reach their target. And that's, like I said, I'm always going for this kingdom, and I built it like that's mine. And every day I learn more details about what I want, and it's mine. Yeah. It's not like you can't set goals for other people.
You just gave another really tangible point: visualization. When you talk to really successful people, they visualize.
Oh, I see it all the time. Like, I mean,
a lot of people don't get what they want because they don't ever even know what they want or visualize it.
Nebulous.
Yeah, it's just like it's a vague thing out there.
I want to make more money. How much?
Yeah.
I want to be fit. What's fitness look like to you? Yeah. Well, I want to have a really great marriage. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, man.
Right? And then get like the more details. I said it it might have been even on my vlog yesterday where I went, you need to know, like, right down to how many fucking rocks are in your driveway. Like, what does your life look like? Yeah. And I think people are afraid of the opinions of other people, and more so the fear of not failure, being seen to fail.
Yeah.
I think people are so afraid of being seen to fail because then they assume the identity of being a failure. I go, but you're not a failure. I fail more by noon than most people do in a year.
Yeah.
Because I am willing to. And the people that win fail so many more times. They just get back up and then they learn.
To try to open something,
dude. Right? That's my favorite.
You want to see failure,
dude? My favorite post you made was like, "Don't tell me how calm you are," something like that, until you're stuck in traffic and you're trying to get your seatbelt on. I laughed so hard when I read that because I was like, you know what? That son of a bitch is fucking right.
And then I got
yeah, you just because you're like, I'm gonna rip this right out, and no matter how strong you are, you're not getting it. Nope. You're not getting it, And so you just have to, because sometimes you just want to get out of the car and just boot the door, right? So yeah. I get it, I got that, but that'll expose you, right? Like, are you twitchy? Yeah, you're sitting there, just all like you just can't get this fucking belt. Just pisses you off, right? You just rage out,
goose
like,
for bot, man.
What is wrong with that guy, right? You're flipping out in your car, somebody's phone is out, and you're going all over the internet, for sure. But that you have to know what you're going for.
Yeah.
And all I did was go, okay, if this is what I want, what are the components of that? Okay, I need to make this much money. Like, if you have a life, I tell people, take the life you want. Whatever it is, stop setting goals for other people or based on what other people think you can do. I don't care. If you, like the Wright brothers built a fucking plane and everybody was like, good luck, bro. And you have to look at your life like that. What do you want it to look like?
Yeah.
And then how are you going to fund it? And that's the piece people miss because they go the other way. They go the other way around. They're like, I'm going to earn this money and then I'm going to build this life. You got it backwards. It's like, I want to be a NFL. I want to play in the NFL. Okay. How are you going to fund it? Which means, what are the workouts you're going to do? What are the calories you're going to do? How many practices are you going to do? What do you get? Like, are you going to practice 12 hours a day or 1 hour a day? Because the person practicing 12 hours a day is going to murder you when you get to the combine.
Yeah.
That guy's doing backflips over you and running it twice.
People they don't understand how much work goes into everything. They see somebody that's really good at something because really people are really good at stuff. They make it look easy. You know what I mean?
The reps.
Yeah, the reps. They can't comprehend it.
No, because they're not willing to. Yeah. You know what? You know what's wild? Everybody's putting in the reps. It's just the direction. Everybody's putting in reps every day. And I think like you're born like completely fearless, completely unstoppable, and disciplined in the right direction. And all you do is fuck it up.
You know what I picture when I hear that? Like somebody's on a trail, right? And what they want is on the other side of this jungle. And they'll beat a path through the jungle for a while and it get hard. And then they quit and they go back to the trail and they beat another path. Pretty soon they got all these paths they started. And then they end up just sitting down on that trail. It's like, hey, just try beating that path a little bit longer.
At the same spot, right? They're just a bunch of veins going towards it. That's such a good analogy.
Just keep beating on the path a little bit longer, man.
And you have to have a plan because people don't. They have this loose plan and they'll like, the workouts are the best. I'm going to do a little bit of a workout here. That's not working. I'm going to do this one. And then I'm going to try this business. That's not working. I'm going to do this one. We're in a swipe right world, right? Yeah. Oh, the marriage isn't working. I'm going to try a different one. Dude, you go until you win because you get paid for done. Yeah. You don't get paid for attempts. You don't deserve a trophy for trying. And 11th place is not a fucking win. It's just not a win.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where it comes down to that kingdom at the end. And you have to go, what is required?
I don't want to discourage people though, when they're working towards something and then they see something else that they love. Like, okay.
Make sure it is versus it's a distraction.
There's a difference there.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain. Yeah,
and that's where this infallible human logic comes, where we will validate the hell.
Or I hate what I'm doing, but I put so much work in this, I can't stop now. It's like, no. What do you love?
Do you want to do it?
And it's okay. Well, I already worked all this. Okay. Well, what did that work teach you? Because you learned some stuff from it.
What's the lesson?
Yeah,
that you can
now work towards what you love, and guess what? You're never gonna run out of energy for that.
Best thing you can tell somebody is never get good at something you hate.
Yeah, man,
don't ever get good at something you hate.
Too.
Because people do it all the time. My mom wanted me to. My wife did. My husband did. Well, I know this is what I probably should do. Yeah, but you hate it. Yeah, but like, what else can I do? Anything.
Any fucking thing you want.
Pick something and just do it. The only difference between a winner and a loser is a winner kept fucking going. That's it. And they took every opportunity that crossed their path. Losers justify why they cherry pick their opportunities, and it's the opportunities that feel the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they come the easiest.
Yeah.
That land in their lap.
It doesn't matter what opportunity comes by. If it moves the needle in the direction they need to go, they jump all over that opportunity. And they will they will zero out everything to do it. Because they know, I don't care about losing right now because I know I'm going to win.
There's a lot of energy right now.
Yeah.
And people we're gonna watch this and like, well, that's fucking exhausting. And here's the thing though. It's like, listen,
dude, so losing's exhausting.
You have a long life, right? And start now, but do what you can do every single day. Just do what you can do. You know, I don't like this 110% bullshit. It's like, no, just give me 100%. Just do what you can do today.
Brandy knows I can't stand like 110. That doesn't exist. Yeah, 100% is all.
And then like, listen, and there's gonna be. You're going to slip ups and failures and you're going to let yourself down and other people down. Just instead of sitting down, just write down what you want to fucking do and take another step, man. But it doesn't have to be urgent.
You need a vision to do that.
And like passion doesn't have to burn kind of like what is going on now because we're excited about talking about it. Passion, you can be tired. You can be moving slow one day. Just keep moving, man.
How many workouts have you done where you're like, fuck, I don't want to be here today?
Yeah.
Probably 90% of my workouts.
Yeah.
Really? And
most of my great workouts start with like, I don't want to be here today. And then it turns out to be a great workout.
Yep.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I'm like, oh God, I hate this. And I'm sure somebody's going to hear that and go, oh, okay, what's he going to say next? Do the fucking workout.
Yeah.